Hey, welcome back, GoFX traders. Hope you guys have all had an amazing weekend. Hopefully, you guys got to spend some time in the sunshine, just like I did. And now it's time to get down to business once again. So let's dig into the charts and let's start out this week looking at US oil. Right now, I'm looking at US oil on the weekly chart, and we can see that we have our confirmed head and shoulders pattern. And last week, we had a big engulfing candle coming off of that low test. We got back up to the area of $44 a barrel where I was talking about. And now, if we take a look at the daily chart, we can now see that we've broken up above this downward sloping trend line on the daily. It looks like today we just got a really good close. Now, I'm expecting to see a little bit of a pullback to this downward sloping trend line just to retest it as support. And I think that our next area that we're going to be shooting for is heading up to that $50 a barrel, where if we look back on the weekly chart, we can see that that is the top of our neckline for our head and shoulders pattern. I'm really hoping for all the boys and girls here in Alberta that we are going to break above the $50 a barrel mark, hopefully retest that, and hopefully we're going to be kind of floating between and trying to get to the highs of 2015 in and around that $60 a barrel. But for now, this week, I'm hoping that we're going to have some good price action and hopefully stretching our legs out to that $50 a barrel mark. Kind of going hand in hand with the US oil trade that we were just talking about. We're seeing that we are having some strength within oil, and that's going to mean some strength within the Canadian dollar. So taking a look now at the US Canadian dollar on the weekly chart, we can see that we had this awesome bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart. So we're looking at playing off of the momentum of that coming up this week. We can also see on the daily chart that we broke this upward sloping trend line with a lot of momentum going on. I'd like to see the market pull back to a little bit better area of value, where I'm going to have a new lower high and I'm going to have a nice safe place for my stop, hopefully just underneath this upward sloping trend line, and I'm going to put my stop just above that and on the other side of this upward sloping trend line. From here, we're just going to play it out and see what the market's going to give us, but hopefully kind of playing off of the strength that we saw on the weekly chart. We'll have a good run down, probably trying to take out the lows here of 2016 in around that 1.25-ish area. Taking a look now at the Aussie dollar and the Canadian dollar. Taking a look now at this daily chart, we can see that last week we had a lot of deceleration at the top here, which gave us a nice double top pattern. From there, the market did pull down to the downside and with quite a bit of momentum going on. From here, yesterday we just closed with a doji candle. I'm expecting to see and really want to get a little bit of a pullback before I'm looking at getting into this trade to the downside. I want the market to pull back, give me a little bit of a better area of value, give me a lower high, give me a nice safe place for my stop, and then I think from there we can trade that down to the area of 0.9815, which is going to match up with our 0.382 fib. And we also have some really awesome horizontal support and resistance, and will match up with this downward sloping trend line on the daily. So if we can get into this trade for some really good value at a nice safe area, I think that we should have definitely some room to capture some pips within the Aussie and the Canadian dollar going short this week. Taking a look now at the euro and the Aussie dollar on the daily chart, we can see that we've formed this massive quadruple bottom here in around the area of 1.4450. Last week Friday closed off with a really awesome engulfing candle, and from there we're seeing some momentum up to the upside here finally. We're seeing this as we are expecting some other pairs. We're expecting to see the Australian dollar a little bit weaker against some other currencies as well. So playing off of the momentum off of this, I want to see a little bit of a pullback here happen, possibly on the 4-hour chart, where we're going to get a higher low. From there, I'll look at getting into the market and having my stop on the opposite side of that new swing that's formed. And from here, I'd like to trade it up to the area in around that 0.382 fib, so around the 1.49-ish area. The market could actually trend quite higher, as in the last couple of years here, the markets like to be on the opposite side of this trend line, and we've seen the market go as high as up in the area of 1.550. But from here, I'm just looking at getting in and out of the market. I don't want to be holding on to anything too long term right now, as the bias in the market is still really unclear about which direction a lot of the currencies are going to head towards. But this week, if we can get a good pullback to value, I think that off of the deceleration that we saw off of this quadruple bottom, we should be able to get quite a few good pips in this week on the Euro Aussie dollar this week. That's it for this week, traders. Hopefully this will give you some good insight of what to be watching for this week. Make sure that you're keeping a close eye on your trades as the bias in the market tends to shift fairly quickly. Make sure to have your guys' stops really tight, and make sure if you guys are up in profit to lock in that profit and make sure to put that money in the bank. Stay tuned this week as we're going to go live on GoTV this Wednesday, as we're going to have some more insight about some awesome features coming up in the Go Scanner, which I think you guys are going to love. So have a great week. We will talk to you guys soon on Wednesday.